Alright. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be focusing on Immortal Gates of Pyre, taking a look at an upcoming RTS title focused on a competitive multiplayer experience that gets very little attention. Whilst games like StormGate and their negative reaction to that early access are taking up a lot of the media and the attention of everyone, including myself, people are forgetting about a lot of the other projects going on. So today, we are hopping on with one of their devs to commentate and look at their game and check out what is Immortal Gates of Pyre's multiplayer all about? What does it look like? What feels good? What could be improved on? And does it show promise as a future upcoming competitive real-time strategy? Joining me is the creative director of Immortal. So I've barely played the game. Give us a quick overview of the factions really quickly, as we've got Santa Claus in the bottom left is going to be playing them. And Zealot also. Okay, so is this going to be a mirror matchup?
So yeah, so in terms of faction, both of these are the Karathi Angelic Empire. It's an empire of humans ruled over by the Star Angels descending from the heavens and imposing order upon a chaotic world. Santa in the bottom left is playing as Orzum, the commander of the regent commander of the armies. He is a big, scary, I'm going to sit down here and just be an unbreakable wall kind of a character. Up in the upper right, in the blue, Mr. Zealot is currently playing as Ajari, Orzum's sister, quote unquote. She is in charge of interacting with the humans and making sure that they feel felt and heard. And as part of that, she is heavily invested in making sure that her individual troops stay alive.
Ah, okay, so a bit more healing and support kind of style.
Yes, and ironically, because we have a little scout minigame going on here, actually.
I did not know the scout had weapons, by the way. I've just run them in and got my scouts killed every time I've played.
Yeah, so scouts have a little attack that can only attack other scouts, but if you kill a scout, you get a tiny bit of pyre.
Okay, so just in case you guys don't know what's going on, let's give you guys from the ground up. Basically, the commanders we're talking about there, Orzum versus Ajari. Basically, that's kind of like almost like a it changes your pyre abilities, which are kind of like a top bar power essentially, and that's a different resource you get from creeps and a few other things like that. But also, that's going to change some of the unit choices you have, right? So it's almost like a separate loadout of the same faction. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, awesome. So, or Orzum, I'll stop. Yeah, basically, we're going to be looking at, so it's like a mirror matchup, but not really, because of those different commanders that are being picked. And that's cool, because it does add some different flavor. And of course, I guess there's always the option as the game goes on to add more of those kind of commander factions. So you kind of have this like unlimited ability to spice up the existing factions by adding a few units, a different ability here or there, right? Like as the game develops.
Yes, the idea was to make it so that it would be really easy to get in and just add in additional content, additional characters, flesh out the world and the play styles pretty easily once we got that base faction kind of thrown together.
So both players right now are just creeping, right? So there's these neutral little like points you can capture, and if you kill the creeps on them, you get pyre. It's a way of getting those resources to use those top bar. Did we just see an ability get used? What was that?
We did. Heaven's Aegis. So Mr. Zealot just gave his forward Sapari a bunch of shields and a bit of a speed boost to try and sneak up and pick off one of those Antari, but wasn't quite able to pick off the low one.
Cool. Okay, so this is the difference in like basic early units. So Sapari for Mr. Zealot as opposed to Zentari for Santa Claus because of the different commanders. And these are both like kind of the basic, I guess, Zealot sort of tier 1 unit, Zealot, Zergling, Marine, Footman, yes. Grunt, whatever you want to call it. What's the difference between them?
So the big difference is that the Sapari, the spearmen, have a long weapon and are kind of able to attack over each other. They have like a melee plus range attack.
Oh, cool.
Zentari are way beefier, but they only have a sword. So if you're out and about on the map, they're only able to kind of like get up to the first rank. But if they're on hallowed ground, the kind of blue area towards the back of when you're in your home base, their swords are infused with angelic energy and they're able to fire off bolts of angel fire at like a range 3, I think.
And I know there's an upgrade for that. Is the upgrade, do you need that for it to work at all, or does the upgrade just add extra range to that hallowed ground?
Just bumps the range up. means you
the
can be a
range
lot
up.
more aggressive with picking enemies off. But before
Cool.
that, you still have a nice little defensive bonus when you're at home.
So it's a defensive bonus, but also I know from playing the other day, the tutorial taught me get Magi to go with them, and then the Magi can kind of like siege itself up and create like a little blue area of hallowed ground to give them that range boost. You can also get it, I think, from, is it Pillar of the Heavens, one of the big expensive top bar abilities that Santa could use later on?
Yeah, Pillar of the Heavens drops some hallowed ground and some fire rate, but now we've got the other Vanguard coming out for Orzum, Scepter.
Dude, so this is a proxy, right? This is like a, he's like a proxy battle cruiser, basically. Is that what I'm watching?
Kind of. This is it's almost like a proxy, yeah, like battle cruiser liberator kind of thing.
Okay, sick. So what does Zealot have to do? Does Zealot have nothing that shoots up right now?
Currently, he doesn't. He does have. Let's see. He can get he's getting an Angelarium now, so he'll be able to pick up some Sentinels and drive the guy away. And he does have a Soul Foundry, so he should. Oh, there goes the pillar on the Angelarium. Oh no!
Oh, did he just kill the building with it?
He just killed the air building.
Oh no,
so
that's like sniping the starport, so he can't build air units to defend. Oh, that's disgusting. Yep. I didn't know that did damage to buildings.
He is now being forced to go out and run a counterattack, which is the correct move, and that's a lot of Safari.
And this, can he just avoid the tower and go into the base to the left is probably the move here, right, for Zealot?
Yeah,
and then just go for the workers, take the economy out. Do workers rebuild for free, or are they cost money?
They do cost money, but they do rebuild automatically, so you don't have an APM drain to build them back up.
Right, yes. Okay, so they're pretty, yeah, so it is pretty good damage. I like this choke point defense for Santa Claus. He's got the Angel, the Scepter, is going to just be doing damage steadily, slowly wearing this push down. He's also got a Castigator out. Is a Castigator just like a general purpose unit, or?
Castigators are anti-air, but they do have a nice little stun effect if they're used against ground troops.
So is he kind of preparing? He's like, you're going to have to go air to counter the Scepters, and I'm going to try to be one step ahead with my own Castigators, but actually a Castigator comes out for Zealot as well to defend it. So at this point, it feels like you probably don't want to keep building Castigators as Santi, if I'm understanding this correctly.
Yeah, so having Castigators in the later game is nice as you start kind of getting out to those big like end game caster units for Karath, all the big scary angels. But at this point, having one Castigator kind of mixed in there for some really basic crowd control is a nice splash. But he probably don't want to see any more until he sees more air troops coming out for Mr. Zealot.
Okay, man, this Scepter harass is just disgusting. Back up to like 5 workers in the main is Mr. Zealot. Only 2 on the natural. Third base just now starting. Santi's natural or third base is just building. If you could get this snipe, that would be big. Hallowers are going to come over. Now the Hallower, what the heck does that do?
Yeah, the Hallower calls down a beam of power, which is just this crazy artillery unit. It also sets up a tiny area of hallowed ground in the spot that it hits, which lets the Centauri get up and kind of use their ranged attack out in the front.
There's no friendly fire, right?
No friendly fire.
Did I just see one of Zealot's units just get teleported home or something? Was there like a green ability on it or something?
I believe that was the Seoshin's ability.
Oh, okay. What's that do?
So rather than the Magi, Ajari gets the Seoshin, which instead of doing like a medic style heal, they just kind of jump in and just do a gigantic burst heal, which gives them it's insane HP regeneration, and they get a speed boost for a short period of time, which lets you kind of be really aggressive, or if you're in a bad spot, you can retreat to a position of safety. And
I could see, because I guess Zealot did that, but then had to run away, and it got left behind in the front line, which is what happened while it was still doing its heal out on its own. And then Santi chased it home, focused down the other one as well. So I feel like Santi right now is really like killing all the important things, being annoying, being in the face, harassing. But as always, when you're dealing with someone being this annoying, at least if my StarCraft and general Age of Empires kind of knowledge holds, I imagine Santi's economy is not like being a focus for him. There's just no way you can be this in your opponent's face and be super focused on it. On the other hand, he's got a third base up. His workers have been pretty untouched for a while. So I think his army size might just be getting a little bit out of control here.
Yeah, and we did see as well the Eye of Aros being built. So Santa's positioning himself to build up some end game caster units called Sharu pretty soon as well.
Ooh. The Hallow is getting jumped on. I like the micro. You can tell all of the Saiyashins and the Saparis especially, sorry, we're trying to focus down the Hallows, but you're seeing these hallowed shots landing, these circles everywhere. The Scepter's not going down. It's a pretty close fight. A lot of these Zentari are so close to dying, but they're not quite going down, and it feels like Zealot just doesn't quite have enough to hang on and is getting bullied here. So it kind of, the Hallow is like a nice little siege artillery unit. I imagine as Santi, you don't want to overcommit. You just want to keep trying to bait him into fights and choke points wherever possible. And you've got the Magi coming forward. They're healing up the Hallowers and Zentari that are damaged. So that's going to be really effective. And with no tower placement over here or anything to defend, the tower, of course, is on the inside, that citadel. And for those who don't know, there are set points you can build towers in this game. So you can see it's covering the right side of that base, but not the left. And the Hallow is just happily going to siege and say, come and fight me through this choke point if you want to defend that base. Of course, we're going to see it happen. Oh my gosh, what's that?
Salvation comes up. So Ajari's ultimate allows anytime a unit within that radius dies, Ajari captures them, and then at the end of this duration, they'll all come back at reduced HP.
And they all spawn at the closest base, is that what I saw? Or they just come, they like respawn there on low hit points, and then you use the heal from the, what was it? The
Saiyoshin.
Saiyoshin. Oh, that's an awesome combo there.
All right, we have Sentinels coming out and deploying, hoping to try and intercept any damage that's dealt to them, but getting pillared. Oh, all three go down. That's brutal.
Oh, the pillar from Santi. That was a top bar ability, guys. Took down all of them. I mean, this is brutal. The throne is here as well. The throne is like basically like just a general purpose late game unit, right? It kind of does everything well. This is like the end game beast, yeah?
Yeah, it feels like a StarCraft 1 battlecruiser kind of unit.
It's just here to mess stuff up. The Hallowers are still alive, doing really well in the back as well. And, dude, just dominating play for Santi. Obviously, I think getting ahead with the early one. Ooh, Arc Mothers are out. What do these do?
Coming out. Arc Mothers kind of have a Defiler-style plague, or not plague, Darkstorm kind of ability. They're able to toss out a little bubble of protection, and any units within get I think 50% damage reduction on all incoming damage.
And does that only affect your units, or if the enemy's in it, can they make use of it?
Only your troops, yeah.
Okay, so that pillar doesn't really do anything there. Just gives a bit of hallowed ground as obviously forces Zealot back. But Zealot is going to throw in the towel, realizing, look, you're 4 base. I am not able to even defend my natural. Damn, that was really cool. That was a really nice showcase of some of the abilities there. At first, I was like, oh, we're watching a mirror matchup. And then I was like, oh, this is really not a mirror matchup at all. That was actually really cool.
Yeah, they feel very, very different.
All right. Going into game 2, the players are swapping it up. We're going to have an Aru versus Aru match.
So we have Mr. Zealot is going to be playing as Mala, sort of the prophetess, the blood prophetess of the Aru. Has a couple of spellcaster-oriented abilities. Versus Santa playing as Zol, who is Zol being the prophet of the hunt. She wants to get up into the fight and just use her bow to kill big scary things because it makes her look cool.
Yeah, Zol's the one that I've been most interested in aesthetically in the past. I do love this Aru faction, of course. You can basically see a sort of Mesoamerican, bit of Incan and Aztec sort of inspirations, I guess. I always get Mayan, Incan, Aztec confused, so, you know, anyone who knows them better, I'm sure Dylan's like, well, technically it's this. But yeah, you've got that combined with forest plus blood magic plus a lot of sacrifice and brutal, gross, awesome stuff. So I just love the design of this faction. Everything is about as gory as it could possibly be.
Aru is probably on the writing standpoint. I'm slightly biased because I participated more in this faction than Karath. It's probably my favorite faction. They've got so many cool cultural bits just kind of going on under the hood. Parts of that are represented through gameplay. For example, Zol, her main ability, and I'm sure we're going to see Santa use this a lot, is putting Zol onto the ground as a controllable unit to do fighting with, which most immortals can't do. And as part of keeping her relevant through the game, she's able to level up as she kills units and collects trophies from their corpses. It's also a big thing in Aru society. You kill things, you collect trophies, it makes you a big deal in the matriarchy.
Oh, this is going to be a bit of a cheese as well, right? We're kind of seeing like what feels like a 6-pool here from Santa Claus. We're going to see if Zealot can defend their expansion. Oh, what's that?
Ooh, so we have a hunting grounds going down. I haven't seen this in a little while. So hunting grounds lets you put an area down, and then all units inside of that area will gain a buff that deal extra damage whenever they fire off at a target.
Oh, cool. And it's worn off now by the looks of it.
Yeah, normally I've seen it used more for ambushes and kind of setting your troops up to intercept enemies, but every so often I have seen people come in and just drop it onto a natural and try and snipe one.
Oh, the masked hunters are outnumbered here and just focus firing the base. You can tell Sani knows over time, like, you're going to get enough units to defend potentially, so I had to focus this base as quick as possible and just gets a base snipe, takes an economic advantage. I mean, not an advantage, you're one base versus one base, but you've removed your opponent's investment in that base. And that's a really good way to start. So just dominating pressure from Santi. And it's always good, right? To know it's not just, well, we just expand at the start of the game. There's no risk around doing it. I think it's always good to have the threat around that. Now, we just got some cloaking going down.
Yeah, so Bone Stalkers, if they don't move for a little while, they will gain a brief cloaking effect.
Oh, and if the enemy gets close enough, they'll see them, right? It's like a...
Yes, so it's a mechanic called hidden. Effectively, if you have like a hidden range, if you have hidden 3, then you're invisible until things get within range 3 of you. I think I want to say Bone Stalkers are range 5 until they get their first upgrade.
Cool. Oh, are we bringing Zol in? What's this? Oh no, Bloodwell.
Yeah, so Zol summoning in a Bloodwell. This is a support structure that both of the Aru commanders have access to. Gives you a point where you can kind of go back to and heal, and if you have anything that can cast magic, also helps to refill their energy pool.
Sick. Okay, so this is actually going to heal all the units nearby as a sort of aura effect. And these masked hunters coming down. I mean, what do you do here as Mr. Zealot? Is there an upgrade you wait for? Are we teching up? What's the follow-up here?
Yeah, I think what Mr. Zealot really wants to do is he's already grabbed the Neurocyte, so I think what he's going to be trying to go for is an offering to try and break out of he's throwing some static defense down, and then he's going to want offering to try and break the line. Offering is kind of your typical stem ability. Does some damage, increases your movement speed, and does a little extra damage.
It's getting pushed back, though. Icor is coming in now with the Bone Stalkers. You'll notice these Icors, these little lizards, are coming forward as well. Lizard dogs, I think, basically shooting fire forwards. So they're a little bit stronger. Oh, man, this is getting crazy.
Yeah, Icors do have that anti-light on their damage. They are going to be able to shred through these masked hunters unless getting good snipes off on the Icor, though. Able to drive back the assault for another wave.
So the Omnivore's built, it was an Aerivore, and then that upgrades to an Omnivore, right? Is that kind of like a creep colony into a sunken colony sort of effect?
Exactly.
Okay. And am I correct? Does the Omnivore have an attack animation in yet?
Not yet. I think we've got it queued up somewhere, but it hasn't made it into the engine yet.
Yeah. Because I remember being like, oh, that looks like a real sunken crawler sort of thing. And then it didn't attack, but it was doing damage. And I was like, oh, in one of the games, and I was like, oh, okay, that's still, it'll be no doubt out in one of the future versions. This is a good break, though. This seems like it's a really efficient fight. Has Santi just massively overcommitted here?
Possibly. He's still on. So the big thing that he has been able to capitalize on is map control. While Mr. Zealot was locked up in his base, Santa has had free reign to go out onto the map, farm Pyre, and just kind of pump those abilities up. We saw in the last game what that kind of does with Orzum dropping pillars everywhere. Santa probably has enough Pyre to be able to drop a Zol onto the front line the next time he makes a big push.
And when you drop Zol, you drop your character. She's got a bow. He's also already dropping a forward Bloodwell in the corner.
That's so funny.
Cheeky. Runs the scout, and he's going to kind of use that as like, oh, you think you're cornering me? Guess what? I have a Bloodwell here, but no, it gets spotted.
It
gets
was picked
spotted.
off. Very good.
Yeah. Okay, so how long does Zol last again? Sorry.
Zol, I want to say about 15 or 20 seconds. It's a pretty short pop in and does some damage. But when Zol is on the field, I think every third attack there's a big line attack, almost like a Colossus or like a Lurker, like shooting straight out.
Oh yeah, so she could be a big fight turner. You probably want to just run away, right, when she gets summoned in. But I guess that's why you want to use her at a moment as Santi goes for a corner base, as he loves to do. He's like, I could expand to my natural, just take an expansion, or I could just take a corner base. But yeah, I guess if you can throw her down in a position where your opponent can't really afford to run away, like defending this expansion, right? It's like, well, you run away, you waste my Zol, but you lose your base. Oh my gosh, it's a forward proxy!
Oh my goodness. All right, so this is one of the abilities that Aru have. Most of their structures have the ability to tunnel into that like creep rootway and out to other locations. So Santa has just been building up these omnivores and are currently summoning them up to the front to do this exact thing.
So basically uses the top bar to get the blood well. That creates this rootway. As you can see, the roots on the ground, kind of like a Protoss power field or a creep spread, something like that if you guys are StarCraft familiar. And then, bam, you just pop these buildings up on the front. Now, they obviously take time to build on the front, but this is like a forward siege push. It's kind of like a bunker push or something like that. That is a huge investment. Now, how does it work? So you can just do you build them at home? Does it just like you just place them and they just start building on the other side? Like you
build them at home and then you kind of he's following it up with a Thrum. Oh no.
What's a Thrum?
Yeah, so Thrum kind of act like Mutalisks. They don't have a ton of straight up power, but they're very maneuverable. And if they kill something, they go into a blood frenzy and their attack speed increases pretty significantly. But this one just kind of gets picked off by some of the backline defenses.
Zealot's base looks like someone who's been cheesed a whole bunch by Santi, right? You get like static defense layered backwards into your base. I mean, Thrums could still come around the left and find that worker line, I think, but it's just kind of, you've got like the trauma is visible in the position that Zealot's in right now, where you're just like, oh my god, get out of my base, you cheesy bastard, let me take an expansion. Now, the brood anchors are there, these big bubbles of blood ready to, do they heal their allies? What do these guys do?
So these guys hunker down to create an area of rootway, but the big thing is that they create those little crawlers, which are basically just spawned banelings, but if they leave your rootway, they die. It's extremely strong defensive positions.
So basically, it's kind of like a swarm host, but with like a limiting factor, so you can't just like throw them into the enemy base and get out of there.
Here we get Zol as well. Oh, that's a big hit.
Oh, yeah. The way she does that splash damage is actually so high potential against these little clumped up guys. She's very scary. And yeah, backing away probably a very good call here. Now, you can use your opponent's rootway as well with the Cystic Crawler, yeah?
I believe not. The rootway is actually coded for teams. So they'll be able to kind of briefly step onto the other rootway, but they will die off pretty quickly.
Okay, cool. Now, the brood anchors are not at max life. Did they get hit by something, or did they damage themselves?
Yeah, I think they got poked by something. Oh, okay. We have some Whitewood Reapers trying to sneak into the base as well.
Dark Templar?
Yeah, basically Dark Templar. They have hidden one or two, I think. And they believe after they hit something, they kind of like have that hunter's sense.
Oh my gosh. So like if this army moves even slightly to the right, they get revealed, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, they're like so close to being spotted. They're just on hold position right there next to the army. You've got incubators here as well. This is so nasty right now. Now, obviously, there's still this one defensive tower, the Grove Guardian on the left that Santi hasn't chose to fight, but Santi's got that expansion up in the top left. He hasn't upgraded the worker count. You can see there's only 4 workers. You can upgrade it again to get up to 8 workers, which is, the bigger count there. Oh, big break attempt coming. Here we go, big break attempt. Finds the Guardians.
He spotted them, there we go.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I called them Guardians. What are they? Grove Reapers? What are they?
Whitewood Reapers.
Whitewood Reaper, that's it. Okay, awesome. This is just a nasty contain. Now we've got forward buildings. So with the factions, the production is a little bit different here for Aru, right? Like you can, or is it just you build more units? I mean, actually, even with the Legion Hall with the other faction, you can still build a bunch at a time. I guess we'll talk about this fight. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a kind of back and forth on the push, and unfortunately, while they're not really pushing in very heavy, bringing in brood anchors of his own. While they're not really pushing in, Santa's continuing to secure map control and is just pushing.
Oh my god!
Mr. Zealot further and further back.
Dude, the cystic crawlers look disgusting. I love it.
They're so cool.
They're so festy, dude. That is so gross. Look at his little throb going with his little mouth and everything. Oh, that's so disgusting. I love it. Dude, I actually love the design of that unit. That is so funny. He's just this big, giant prego dude. Rocks up and starts throwing his little tumor babies at the enemy. This is, yeah. I mean, I love disgusting stuff in video games. And this just, the Aru lore there is pretty cool. So I think this is going to be a standoff probably for a bit longer while they do siege each other. But, oh, no, the Brutankers are sieging forward little by little. Oh, here we go. Here comes Mala.
Putting down her ability. So at this point, anything that dies in that circle is going to give Mala blood to be able to perform some rituals with. And it spawns Ketel, which are those little blue guys, kind of like broodlings, little very short range attackers.
Oh, one of the brood anchors trying to get that brood anchor back. You don't want to lose it. It's an expensive unit, and it does get a save. Good pullback there by Mr. Zealot. He's just hanging in, right? Hanging on, hanging in there, trying to survive this siege up. The forward omnivore brood anchor push, kind of nasty. Now, is there a longer ranged unit? Oh, wait, what's this?
So Mala is using her ability. Now that she's collected all of that blood, she's enhanced all of her, or a number of those units, deemed them worthy. Got little red particles around them. I think there's like plus 15 or 30% like damage and health.
Okay, there's also a fallen harvest effect on them that says they gain mana when nearby allied units die based on population.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, anything that's been deemed worthy is also... yeah.
Oh my gosh. Can you sell or sacrifice buildings? Is that what I just saw?
I think they were being repositioned.
Oh wait, there's Dread Sisters on the high ground. Oh, this is the siege unit that I was asking about. I was like, how do you break this? Yes. Oh my gosh, what the hell is that?
So, Dread Sisters, these are Mala's Vanguard, kind of the Nazgul to Mala Sauron. These guys are able to utilize a blood ritual and just turn into big siege tower units. They don't have splash, but they do have huge high single target damage.
And the break attempt. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the incubators are down here. The front line's holding well. There's a lot of blood infusions. Oof. Oh, she's getting focused. She goes down.
Yeah, and she's going to go down.
This is a break. This is a really good break. I mean, Zealot's only on one base. Does that base mine out? Is there a danger of the resources just being gone and you
pretty damn low. They're down to 190 in that cluster there.
Oh no. Okay, this is really bad then. I mean, you're going to take the expansion straight away. Try to get out there. Santi's got that top left base now upgraded, so it's got not only the second resource, the Ethermore, but you've also upgraded the work account. But a lot of units did die. I mean, Santi's still got the creeping available, but it's just like, I feel like, do you just counterattack? I almost feel like my RTS instincts say you might just want to go do an all-in now as Zealot. Either you double expand, which I don't think you can even afford with your remaining money because your main's completely gone, or you just go right now and hope your army can break the opponent because you know they've been mining more than you for so long.
Yeah, I suspect Mr. Zealot's Santi sense is tingling because he's going straight for that corner base. Oh, doubling back.
Oh, Santi going for the double corner base expand here. Really trying to cheese it out. Going to start clearing these tower locations, these emplacements. Then you can put a tower down on it. Takes a while to build, but it only costs Pyre. Godphage, what is that?
Ooh, so Santa has been building Red Seers and sacrificing them to summon the Godphage. Godphage are kind of almost like Reverie units. They're very slow, and they fire off an attack that deals AoE in a bit of a line.
Cool. Okay, awesome. We're going to see if they can flank from behind. That could be deadly, right? But right now, nothing on the front to hold the line. That tower's not up yet. It goes down. Here we go. Godphage coming from behind. Phage, sorry. And it's going to shoot a big orange thing, and it shoots a bit of a blood explosion there. Okay. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Pushing into the main base right now. There's no real big defender's advantage in the main, right? It's just the production's right there, but there's no actual, like, statics trying to go down. Can you hold the choke point? Here comes the blood ritual thing from Mala. Uh-oh.
Red Harvest going down.
Okay, that's going to buff all those units. Watch out for those orange shots, though. Watch out for those big boom booms.
Oh, and we get a great hunt coming down from Zol. This is going to drop the vision range of all of Mr. Zealot's units to 3.
Oh, blinding the army, calling in Zol. I mean, Zol got focused down pretty quickly, as did the Godphage. And the Red Seer gets focused as well. A couple of underspines here going down. Dude, this is just still a pretty scary counterattack, but I mean, I guess there's not much left now, is there? And with the corner bases going, and there's also, it's still creeping in the middle of this, are the brood anchors. They're still creeping, and there's a counterattack at the same time, hitting the natural. Oh, okay. Santi, as long as Santi holds the main, Santi should have this right. Now, symbiotes are with his army. Aren't symbiotes workers?
They are workers. Santa, in particular, has a style where he likes to just run them in and do damage because they don't take up population, even though they do have, even though they do cost resources. The DPS isn't actually that bad.
Okay, wow. Here we go.
While trying to empower her last few troops before they get focused down, but they are forced to retreat.
Yeah, they had to pull away from their own buff, right? The brood anchors and everything getting on top, pushing them away. And Santi playing with his food perhaps at this point, as we are looking at Mr. Zealot saying, "'Tis but a flesh wound." But, you know, I think his best win condition here is to maybe spray some blood in the eye of Santi from a severed limb.
There it is.
That was a brutal cheese fest there. I think Santa's showing that if you just rush expand, it's going to be hard to defend that against a super committed rush, and using those the early was it the hunt to boost the damage on the base at the start.
Yeah, hunting grounds.
GG, well played. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that show of Immortal Gates of Pyre. You could tell Santa Claus, cheesy, aggressive player, kind of got the edge in those games, but I think that's good. You should have games run away in one player's, favor when you're playing a competitive game. I think what I was most impressed by is the way they struck a nice balance here with the pacing of the fights. Felt quite good both when I played the games as well as watching these. And I think even more than that was the ease of which I got on and started feeling like I was playing the game whilst feeling I was only scratching the surface. And that's important because this is something every strategy game and most gaming devs, but especially RTS devs talk about and yet fail at for the most part, which is we want the game to be easy to pick up and just hop on and play, but really hard to master. And it's so hard to get a balance between those two things, right? I mean, you could take someone who's an experienced RTS player and get them through the first bit, but I'm curious if you think, if you've tried this game as someone who's not as competitive as me, is it as easy to pick up as I think it is? Or is this just because I am so familiar with so many strategy games now that it makes sense to me? Either way, let me know in the comments your thoughts on what you like about the game. Give them some constructive criticism and feedback, and let me know any other RTS titles you'd like me to cover and check out so we can get a look at what's coming up in the real-time strategy space. Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye and good night.